In this lecture, we are going to study about the variable types comma and dot. Now, comma and dot are the two variable types which are a type of delimiters used in SPSS. They are less often used and generally because we don't understand them or we don't want to specify our variables properly, but it's good to know about them. So what exactly are the delimiters? So delimiters are basically the notations or the symbols which are used to demarcate the boundaries between digits. For example, say if I write 10,000, how do I write it? I can simply write it at 10,000, but at best what we can do to make it more readable or better, I can put a comma here. So if I'm putting a comma here, then comma is acting like a delimiter. And generally when we put a comma as a delimiter, then for decimal values we use a dot here. So this is a dot value and this is the comma value. So this is the one standard kind of notation we generally follow mostly in India or United States. But in many other countries, this convention is not followed. In fact, it's a reversed. So what happens if we have to write, say, 1000? Now this works for if you are writing 1000 rupees. But suppose we are like, say, in Europe and somebody is writing 10,000 euro, then he or she will write it like 10 dot. Now dot will act as a delimiter here and then a comma and then zeros. So you can see now how the delimiters work in the different countries, and it's very important to define them properly, else we might make a mistake. So come back to SPSS and let's try to define comma and dot variable types. Now as you can see, we have an income variable here, and suppose I want to define income once as a comma separated delimiter and in another case as a dot separated delimiter. Or let's have two different type of variables. For example, say income, we are defining it as a comma separated delimiter, and we can have population that we can define as a dot separated delimiter. So first, to define it as a comma separated delimiter, comma type variable, click on comma and press OK. So once you click on it, you see nothing here because our values are very small. But suppose I am writing something here as 15 lakhs. So let me write 15 lakhs. So I'm writing 5 zeros, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I'm expecting comma as a delimiter once I press enter. So you can see we got two commas here, and that helps us in reading the things. But if you want to have decimals as well, since we have not defined decimals here in the income variable, let's define decimal up to 2 places. So we are having now dot as a symbol that separates our values with the values after decimals. As contrary to this, if we define another variable and if we call it like say population, in that case let's define it as a dot separated delimiter, and let's enter the population of first city, or like say the city to which he belongs. Though we have not recorded city, if you want we can quickly define the city variable as well. So right click and insert variable, let's call it city. Fine. So the population of cities, and suppose he belongs to Delhi, so let's make it a string variable and write Delhi here. And the population is, suppose we are writing something, a random value. Fine. And press enter. Since we have taken the dot as a delimiter, so we are expecting the digits to be separated, or means boundary to be created by using the dot variable. So press OK. Now you can see these boundaries has been created by using the dot variable, and comma separate the decimal value. Now in India we are not accustomed to such kind of values because we generally use the comma as a delimiter. So if you want to change it, you can go here and we can take population and we can use as a comma delimiter. So now you can see this is defined as a comma delimited value. So that's how you use the comma and dot variable types in SPSS.